mattresses. You go into hotels also, Joy, don't make no mistake. Make no mistake. You've got to be prepared to. Don't tell me you make me tired. You make me tired. I can't anymore. Can you just not have lunch? I stopped that. I forced it. Today you'll eat bread. You eat a sandwich, sorry. That's no food it is.
Why you wanna dustmans? Just be liquor. Don't be extra. Just be liquor. Think you clever and you better.
Hello everybody! Welkom with Joy. Julle, ek is so happy om terug te wees. It's so nice. I'm really happy to be back. I told you guys we're going to be back soon. And so we are back with episode number 8. And guys, before we take it any further with this episode, I just want to say that from episode 7 onwards, we are only going to post the episodes on YouTube. Okay, you're going to find the trailer and a poster on Facebook and Instagram, but the full episodes will be on YouTube. Because most of the people that watch this on Facebook, we will post a link on Facebook to the YouTube video, but you're going to find most of it on YouTube. Okay, so gaan kyk dit daai. Okay guys, so this is episode number 8. I'm so excited. I'm so excited. Okay guys, episode number 8. So how this episode is going to work, it's going to work slightly differently, guys. It's going to be in 3 parts, okay? So the first part is the interview, okay? And then the second part will be what we call a fundraiser, and then the third part will be a handover. And throughout the entire process, I will of course update you guys with the process, but I will let you know of parts 2 and 3 later. For now, we're going to focus on part 1. Okay. So today, guys, our guest is Auntie Marion. And so I'm going to refer to you quite often in this interview as Woman of Strength, okay? Interchangeably. So, yes, this is our Woman of Strength standing here. Auntie Marion, could you tell us who you are, where were you born, where did you go to school, what do you do for a living? Tell us a little bit about who you are.
About myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
I'm Marion, born and raised in Belleville South. Went to Goeie Primary for my primary years, and then to Belleville South Secondary.
Okay.
Yes, got married let me just think, 86. Yes, and got 2 daughters. Karen's the eldest. She's will be 4 this year in October, and then Tamsin, she's mentally disabled. She will be 33 in November.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, Marion. So, guys, as you know, there's always a reason behind why I do this stuff, because I could be using so many other things with my time. So, Auntie Marion, you mentioned that you have 2 daughters.
Yes.
So we are going to speak about Tamsin, okay?
Yes.
So do you mind to tell us the story of Tamsin and your journey with Tamsin up until this point? Yes.
Tamsin was born on the 9th of November 1988. At the age of about 3 months, I saw that her neck was still very floppy for a 3-month-old baby. Took her to the pediatrician, he did scans and so forth, referred us to Red Cross Hospital, Memorial Hospital in Rondebosch, where they discovered that she had a tumor on the brain. Yes. Suggestion was we removed it, 50-50 chance, either they remove it and she will be a vegetable, or they leave it, but she won't make it because the tumor will outgrow the brain. Sure. It will press against the brain. It will outgrow the brain and she will die. And I was young that time. I was only 23 years old, so you know what the doctors say, I believe. So both myself and the father then say just go ahead with the operation. Okay. And everything went from there.
Sure.
She was operated on at the age of 4.5 months, 9-hour operation at Red Cross. But I'm telling you, everybody, I'm taking my hat off to Red Cross with the doctors, with the sisters and the nurses. They're there for you. They're there for the child, because to them, I think it's more, at that time, it was their passion to carry out these things. So yeah, 9-hour operation. She came out that tiny body on that big bed, a head full of bandages, and I couldn't pick her up for about 3 to 4 days.
Sure.
Eventually, when I could pick her up, then the head was too heavy because of all the bandages. You know, my arm actually went down.
Sure.
And doctors also, before the operation, said that she will be in hospital for about a month, 2 months to recuperate. But through God's grace, I was there every day from early morning till late night, sat there against next to a bed. And within a week, she was discharged.
Sure.
And they couldn't even believe.
Oh my gosh. Oh,
Yes.
like a man. Sure.
For the month that she
Sure.
was supposed to be in hospital.
Sure.
Yes.
Sure, Auntie Marion. So I want to ask you quickly. Yeah, that's also just something to comment on what you said. That's something that I noticed is because I did some research and I read some stuff, and I think it's this. I don't know if it's a motherly instinct or a parental instinct to figure out or to pick up that there is something not right with your child.
Yes.
You know, those
Yeah.
developmental stages, because I see that's quite common for parents.
Yes, yes. You know, my eldest daughter, Karen, they're only 1 year, 1 month and 3 days apart, you know, as I told you. So, I remembered, you know, but that wasn't happening with Tamsin. When Karen she was sturdy and neck was all proper and up. When you pick her up, you know, stuff like that. So those motherly instincts kicks in, and you tell you, rather do something because there's something not right here. And, you know, you act on that. Even though, you know, the grandmothers and the elderly people will say, do this, do that, you know, you still do that. But you know, I've got to take her to the hospital. I've got to take her to a doctor just to check her out, you know, to give you as parents peace of mind. Yeah.
Okay, Auntie Marion, so, you know, something that, I mean, one of the things that stood out to me when you first told me the story was how young you were. And, I mean, I'm 20 now. I mean, that's been 3 years' time. And a lot of my friends, we have these conversations. I know me and my roommate have these conversations often where we're like, okay, if we get married and we have children, what do you do if the child is not the way you want your child to be? If the child is, for example, disabled, or the doctor says there's something's going to be wrong with your child, do you abort the child? Do you give the child up for adoption? Do you keep the child? How did you know at such a young age that you should keep the child?
Why do you have to ask me a deep question? No, you know, Joy, I think, as you say, motherly instinct. But these days, you know, they do all these tests, as I've now discovered with Karen now, and they send you for this test to see if the baby is fine. Then they drew blood or some fluid to say is the child disabled or not, and it's your decision. But I think when you're at that point where you've got to make that decision, you're going to make the right decision.
Okay.
You're going to make that right decision because you as a mother would know, I will struggle. Doesn't matter for how long. It could be for a year. It could be for now. It's almost 33 years.
Sure.
And it's just God that carries you through all these things, my dear.
Sure.
It's just Him.
Sure. No.
Yes.
And I also want to know, because, you know, I was interacting with Tamsin quite briefly the other day. You know, I think, you can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think it's a whole new language that you need to learn.
Oh, yes.
How do you learn that language? How do you know, okay, this is what my daughter's trying to tell me?
Yes, you know, there is just that I could notice because she loves to eat. She loves a plate of food, you know. So breakfast, lunch, and supper. Breakfast, okay, I know because she needs to go. She attends the Oasis Daycare Center for the mentally handicapped in Ravensmead. They're doing a good job. Hats off to them.
Okay.
The carers actually that's got the patience for those children. And then she's often there for lunch.
Okay.
Weekends are being decided. Okay, when it gets to 12 o'clock, if I'm in the kitchen or I'm in the room, she will go to the kitchen. She crawls, she can't walk as you saw, she crawls to the kitchen and then she will sit there. Then I'll know. Okay, it's 12 o'clock, so this is your lunchtime. And that's how I started picking up things like supper time is any time between 5:30 and 6 o'clock. She will come into the kitchen, fully tummy full, straight to the bedroom. On the bed, sleep.
Oh, yeah.
And then afterwards she will now nag for a snack.
A snack. Okay.
She's not somebody for sweets,
Okay.
but give her a packet of Lay's chips.
Okay.
That's she loves that.
Oh, I
She
find it,
loves
yeah, I
that.
find it so fascinating how, I mean, you just learn to understand
And
how.
and you understand their language.
Yes, yeah.
You know, she's a very easy child. She's not a naughty child at all. Not naughty. After all these years, you know, there's times when she just gets irritated.
Okay.
And I'm telling you, I also get irritated with her because my child is perfect.
Yes, yeah.
And I've raised her the way I raised Cannon.
Okay.
You know, there's times when she's like, I mustn't speak to Karen right now.
Oh, okay.
You know, she will hit her mouth and she will like, almost cry and, you know, nobody must speak to me. It's now just the two of us.
Okay,
And
okay.
you know, I will tell her, Tamsin, hold on.
Yeah.
Wait, now it's the same thing with my two grandkids.
Yes.
They'll be all over me and then sometimes she just can't handle that.
Oh, I
And
see.
yes.
Okay.
so, but you know, she taught us as a family so much love, so much patience.
Yes.
I'm gonna get emotional again. Patience and how to reach out to others.
Yes.
You know, I can remember when I was at school,
Yeah.
we made fun of children
Yes.
that was, what's the word that we use? Retarded.
Yes.
We made fun of those children.
Mm.
And I'm sure God just said, I'm going to give you this child and let's see how you're going to handle
Yes.
that.
Yeah.
But I'm telling you,
No.
He gave me that patience.
Can I say
I'm
again,
sorry.
this is our women of strength right here. No, you took me on that as well. I think I remember when we were still much younger, we were like grade 5, grade 4, grade 5. We went as a grade, we went to the Brown School.
Mm.
And I just remember we got there, and obviously there were some albinos, and
Yes.
I don't know, we got there, and the whole grade just kind of like clung to each other.
Gathered,
And it was like
yes.
us and them.
Yes.
And we didn't know how to interact with them, and we were like, oh my gosh, they're scary people. And it's just, you know, I don't think we even considered them people in a way.
Yeah.
You know, because they were just so different.
Different.
And I think it's the same with any kind of disabled person. It's usually hulle full in a hoekie,
Yeah.
you know?
Yeah.
That they must
Vergeet
sit there,
van hulle.
but, yeah. And I think that's largely due to people not knowing how to interact
That's it.
and being afraid of that
Yes.
interaction.
You know, we don't go anywhere without her.
Okay.
That's not just one thing. We go to shops, we go to here, we go camping, and she must just get used to sleeping on the blow up mattresses. We go into hotels also, Joy, don't make no mistake, But everywhere we go, everybody will always carry them on their There is that one or two people that, you know, I don't know what they're thinking. Is it gonna rub off on them or I've got no idea what. But she's a very lovable person.
Yeah, she
is a very lovable person, and you can't just not help to
Yeah,
love her back.
yeah.
You know,
Definitely.
you go into the shops. Up to today, 33 years later, I still don't know why when people come up and say into the purse and they will say, yeah, buy her something, and I'll think,
No.
she's fine. That is cool, but okay, thank you very much. But and even, you know, when we talk at school, at meetings and stuff, then the parents say, so true, what's the story with that, you know? So that's still what we want to know. Why?
Yes.
Are you giving the child money? What's the
Oh,
reason behind it? You won't believe me. It's the kind of things people do.
Sure.
You know, but I accept it and I take
You
it
just
in my
take it,
stride.
okay.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
Sure, Auntie Marion, so again, I mean, you mentioned now that you guys go everywhere with your Tamsin. And obviously, there's a lot of care that you need to put into her. And you clearly have a love towards, I think, both your children.
Yes, yes, I do.
But was there ever moments when you just thought, can I just not have to feed you, or can I just not have to change your nappy? This is specifically. Or was there ever moments when you, especially early on, when you were maybe, I don't want to say skrikkerig, but you were scared of what other people will say. How do you?
You know, there is, as you know, these mentally challenged children, they tend to drool,
Yes.
you know, and then after a while, it tends to give a smell off if you now leave the
If you
bib
leave it
on
on,
or
okay.
the top or the whatever. And you know, I was at first, you know, I was scared taking her places
Okay.
because just now she smells and
I see.
they're gonna now
Yeah.
think of this. Oh, uitgevat soos 'n Christmaskat na kinderryk na quail, soos hulle sê. And then, you know, then afterwards I just thought, think whatever you want to think.
Yeah.
Yes, there's times that I'm tired, exhausted. She's not so exhausting anymore.
Okay.
You know, I think she grew, as she grow older now,
Yes.
she's getting big. Now my Karen would say,
Yes.
if I say that, maybe Karen would say, Mommy, she is big, you know. But she grew older and I mean, she became rather quiet. As I said earlier, God gave me that insight.
Yes.
As it's almost to, you're allowed to get cross
Yes.
with Tammy.
Okay.
You're allowed to get tired of washing her every day, of having to feed her, of having to and stand. My weekend is if we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
My weekend is getting up, and I'm a very early riser.
Okay.
7:30. Then she's a long time awake. That's her breakfast time. Then it's porridge time. Right? Then she will go take a nap again
Okay.
for an hour or two. Then I quickly run around the house, mop, what.
Okay.
And then it's lunchtime.
Yes.
Then I've got to prepare something for. Okay, and then around about 2:30, 3 o'clock, she will go take a nap for the afternoon, and then when she wakes up there, then it's snack time, and then it's supper time. You know, so you've got to be prepared to. You're telling me you make me tired. I can't anymore. Can you just not have lunch? And she is not somebody that likes a sandwich.
Oh, okay.
She wants a cooked meal.
Oh, easy.
So that I did that. I made food for tonight, supper, and I will keep a bowl or a plate out for tomorrow if it's now weekend for Saturday lunch or whatever. I stopped that. I forced her to eat. Today she'll eat bread. She'll eat a sandwich, sorry. That's how food it is.
Yeah, because I think that aspect of also making time for yourself.
Yes, very important. And that is actually what the caregivers and the principal at the school say. Please, don't be 24/7 around your child. You're actually exhausting them and you're exhausting yourself. So, okay, I'm going out very little, because when we do go out, she's with me.
Yes.
You know, but when somebody invites me for the day, I will go.
Okay.
Very seldom people will invite me. That's another thing. You know, people's almost like, must you invite me or she's got Tamsin.
Oh, okay.
It's for me to decide.
Yes.
Don't you decide I'm not going to invite you because you've got Tamsin. You know, hats off to Karen.
Yes.
Since school days. If I want to go somewhere, if there's something at the church for 2 or 3 hours, you know, she will say, but eventually she will say, it's fine, Mommy, Tamsin can stay with me.
Yeah.
So, you know, but don't you decide, I'm not going to invite you for anything because you've got Tamsin. It's my decision to say, I'm not bringing Tamsin with, so don't worry.
Yes.
You know?
Yeah, so I didn't even think of that, you know, like that people go there, you know.
People go there, my dear, don't worry.
You know, so you mentioned God a few times in the conversation that we had. What role did God play in your journey with Tamsin? And also, did you ever ask him the question, why me?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. You know, as I explained, because of the tumor, the taxi almost knocked me over and I fell in the road. That is where I didn't want Tamsin. Let's put it that way.
Yes.
But when I fell pregnant, I didn't want her.
Okay.
I'm sorry to say it, but that's not just how it is. I was, as you know, still young. I couldn't handle. I've still got a baby on my hands here. I'm pregnant again. And when that happened, I immediately said, this is God punishing me for not wanting a child. You know, and there was my boss at work and the sisters at the clinic and so forth speaking to me and encouraging me and saying, we won't give you a burden.
Yes.
You know, if you won't be able to have. And that is words that everybody still up to today tell me. God will not give you a cross to carry if He knows you couldn't handle it. But God made me realize, I gave you this, and you can. I was thrown against the floor, and I didn't want to get up.
Yes.
But He lifted me up.
Sure.
And He said, meisie, staan maar op, vat hy kruisie en vat die pad.
Yeah.
En ek het die pad gevat.
Sure.
Yeah, and almost 33 years later.
Yeah.
Yes, and
Sure.
we still carry on.
And we still
carry.
Sure. And then also I don't know how it was for you, but also as part of just reading about disabled children and parents living with them, I think it's a great I don't know if it was for you, but I think it can be a great financial strain on the parents. How did you struggle financially in terms of getting
yes.
Joy.
Can I tell you something? This is now for the 2020 was COVID year.
Yes.
Right. March 20. Before that,
Yes.
you know what nappies I used with them?
No, what now?
The toweling nappies.
Really?
That's my hands so extremely ugly and so on. Because I've washed nappies for all those years.
Sure.
I use toweling nappies.
No.
Yes. It's now for the past 2 years that I've decided, okay, let's try this. The disposable nappies is so expensive. It's extremely expensive. You hear people talk about it. And you get, you get these cheap ones.
Mm-hmm.
And that is, as how does the saying goes, goedkoop is duur koop.
Yeah.
That is how it is. Because now I've got a nice make that I found now, and it works perfectly for her.
Okay.
Yes, and clothing, because she's crawling on the floor. The jeans, the pants will go through after a while, and it's like, want ek is baie oortense. Sy aantrek meisie asseblief, dit is baie belangrik. Image, very important, sorry. My friend always say, ek weet nie of jou kind al ooit 'n fungus gehad het, because she can have a cold, but that nose is never dry.
I love it.
So, yes, and then there's people that say, I want to buy Tammy something, man. But what does a person buy, Tamsin? Then I'll say, don't you use perfume or powders or talc, all those stuff. Don't you use panties and washcloths? So yeah. And it's stuff that with them, it's just something that you use a little bit more because you use it often. I've got to often take a cloth and wipe the mouth. I still got the toweling nappies too. When we go out, I use a toweling nappy for the mouth to dry. I don't believe in a book. So when I go out, there's always an extra t-shirt in the bag. If that one is a bit too wet, now just quickly somewhere change the t-shirt. Yeah.
Sure.
So, yes.
Marion, not really. I don't, at least we don't know each other very well. Before this whole interview thing, I knew of Auntie Marion. And I think today and like the other day when I was at your house, I really got an insight into you. But when I got out of the car, there was something about your demeanor, your energy, I got out of the car and I was just like, equal service. Really, there was just something about your being that it was really inspiring. And I love your enthusiasm for life. Because if you were to ask me, like before I met you, if you gave me Tammy's full story, but you didn't tell me the mother behind the story, and then you asked me to give you a picture of how this mother looks, it did not look like you. I did not need that. Uitgeteerd. And I look at you and I'm just like, wow. We complain of everyday things, and I look at you and I'm just like, yeah. I say it can ons doen.
Yes, everybody can do it.
Yes.
Everybody can do it.
No, it's just really, you're an inspiration for me, and I look up to you. I love your energy. I love your lust for life, man.
Ja, nee, ons moet
you inspire me, guys. So guys, as I said, this episode is 3 parts. And then guys, please, you guys heard the story now. Please, julle het ons mooi groot harte gee. Hoe sê jy gee hart vir jou, gee hart vir jou. Gee net, okay? Yeah guys, Auntie Marion, I don't want to take up any more of your time. Thank you very much for taking the time to talk with me. And thank you for taking the time to educate me on people that are disabled. And I'm sure they learned a lot as well. Ja, thank you. Dank je. Ons was net lekker hier zo. Het is lekker. You're so funny. You're so funny.
Stop. Go on.
Thanks so much for marrying me that day. Yeah, no guys. Anyway, I'll see you in the next episode. Let it be lekker, just be lekker, and be out. Bye.
Bye.